Hey everyone! Summer isn't officially over until September 21st, but since everyone's ready to rush into cozy sweaters and candlelit nights and pumpkin spice everything, even though it was 76 degrees yesterday, I'm guessing there are a lot of people out there interested in what fall activities they can do in New York City. So here are some things from my NYC fall bucket list that'll help you make the most of this season. Visit gorgeous historic homes during Open House New York weekend. Open House New York is the one week in the year where the beautiful but usually off-limits buildings that we walk by every day are opened up to the public, so we, the masses, can gaze upon their beauty. In the past years, you could see inside places like the Andrew Friedman Home in the Bronx, the Hall of Fame of Great Americans, also in the Bronx, the Prison Ship Martyrs Monument in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn, as well as so many other gorgeous places. Open House New York takes place from October 21st to the 23rd this year, but I think you do have to register in advance, so check their website a few days before to sign up. Visit the Queens County Farm Museum. I know that I talked about it in my last video, and I mentioned it in several articles on the blog lately, but can you blame me? This place was so much fun, and visiting a farm is a quintessential fall activity. And it's good to know that you don't have to leave the city to have that experience. But if you're new here and you haven't heard me gush about this before, allow me to give you my spiel. Queens County Farm Museum is a fully functional farm in the middle of a residential neighborhood in Queens, and it's been around since the 1600s, making it the oldest continuously farmed land left in the city. This place is fun for all ages and really picturesque. And while you're there, make sure to feed the goats and take a hayride along with other fall-specific activities that they'll probably have. Partake in the Pumpkin Palooza that is the New York Botanical Garden's Pumpkin Parade weekend. Every October, the New York Botanical Garden puts the biggest pumpkins on display. I'm talking about massive pumpkins that weigh a literal ton. Think about how many pumpkin pies that could make. Anyway, during the Pumpkin Parade weekend, you can meet the people who grew these ginormous pumpkins, and they have artists there that will carve out designs into the pumpkins. Not the massive ones, no. Other smaller pumpkins, of course. Step foot into one of New York City's supposedly haunted houses. Confession time. I scare super easily. I don't like thinking about ghosts. I don't like talking about ghosts. Heck, I even avoid reading history books at night, so I don't come across any of those black and white photos from the late 1800s where people only knew how to give menacing looks that pierce deep into your soul. You know, Yeah. So if there's one thing on this list that I'll recommend to you, but probably never ever do myself, is to go into a place in New York City that's reportedly haunted. If you're into that, there's no shortage of potential haunted places in the city. For starters, there's the Merchant House Museum, the Renwick Smallpox Hospital on Roosevelt Island, St. Mark's Church in the Bowery, and the Morris Jamal Mansion. And I'm not going to list anymore because doing the research for this list already creeped me out. But you go ahead, visit at your own risk. Spend the day in Greenwood Cemetery. This is one of the most fall-tastic things you can do in the city, and I highly recommend it. And yeah, this recommendation is coming from the person terrified of potential supernatural encounters. But Greenwood Cemetery isn't your run-of-the-mill, sad, spooky cemetery. When it opened in 1838, New Yorkers took to it as kind of a park, and they would stroll through it, admire the view from Battle Hill, and even picnic among the tombstones. And while I don't think picnicking is allowed these days, the folks dead and alive at Greenwood Cemetery don't mind you doing all of the other things, as long as you're respectful, of course. The folks at Greenwood Cemetery even offer tours where they talk about the architecture and point out the most notable graves. And this is also one of the best leaf peeping spots in the city. So there you have it, some of the best things to do in New York City this fall. If you like this video, then press the like button because then the algorithm will recommend it to other people who are looking for fun fall activities. And if you're into talking about all things New York, like the things to do, the history, and life here, subscribe to this channel and follow my blog and social media accounts where I post New York City tips and trivia every weekday. See you in the next one.